Welcome to Insider Chatter. This is a live edition of the show because, Nate, we're here. The biggest news in Hollywood this year just broke. Warner Brothers has been sold again, allegedly. We'll see if this actually goes through. I'm Mike, the novice cinephile. Joining me, of course, is Nate. He knows movies. Nate, how you been? Give the world your thoughts on this one.
I was gonna start singing "Amazing Grace," but I don't know if I want to sing. I'm not gonna embarrass myself, but movies are fucked.
We are so screwed, aren't we? No, like it's gonna be interesting to see what comes of all of this. For those of you who have been living under a rock this morning and hasn't checked your Twitter feed or the news or anything, Warner Brothers Discovery has agreed to sell to Netflix. This is groundbreaking news because Netflix put in a what was this, an $80 billion offer, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. So there was a big bidding war between all of the major conglomerates. We had Comcast, we had Paramount, Skydance, and Netflix, all coming in to try and buy Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers has kind of been selling off some of their smaller networks, like CNN and TNT, TBS, to try and make their movie division like way more worthwhile for these companies to buy in. And so it finally happened. And there's a lot of bad, there's a lot of unknown, and there's a couple good things, that can come from this. Very, very small. We're going to start going through the bad because that's probably going to be the meatiest section of this conversation because monopolies aren't very good for anyone. So if you're watching this live, hi, thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Let us know what you want to talk about. Any questions you might have, we'll do our best to answer for you. But Netflix has always been almost like theatrical releases, and we were talking about this on one of our previous shows of how like Warner Brothers throughout all of film history, throughout their over 100-year legacy, they've accounted for like 20% of all movies ever made. Mm-hmm. What happens when you take them out of the theatrical release schedule, if that's even a thing? Nate, you want to talk about what's going on with that aspect of this deal?
So that is my biggest concern because over the years we've seen when Netflix first started doing movies and they wanted to do day and date with like AMC and Regal, they I'll say understandably were like, no one's going to go to the movie theater if it's already, you can watch it for free as a Netflix subscriber. And they refuse to carry Netflix movies. Now, we've seen that soften a little bit in recent months, really, with K-pop Demon Hunters. We have Stranger Things kind of breaking records. But is that going to last? I mean, I don't know. Because we've seen with how Amazon does it with, they have a weird relationship with the theaters. Because most of the movies from Amazon Studios, like The Accountant 2, we had Red 1, we just had the After the Hunt with Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
Those were in theaters for a month. They didn't say when they would be on Amazon Prime. Month later, they landed on Prime. And they announced when it would be on the service, like the week of. So maybe they could have something like that makes a little more sense, but I don't know. I mean, the big concern is Netflix does play movies in the theater, but they're really only in city areas at, theaters that are willing to carry that. So for somebody who lives in like middle America and away from a big city and isn't super rich, but wants to see, the Batman, The Batman, or wants to see a new Dune movie in theaters, sucks for them, I guess, according to some of these people, because some of these theaters just won't carry them. And while I understand some of that, it also is on Netflix to understand the importance of seeing a movie in the theater. And I don't know if they do.
No.
I mean, they don't at all. Ted Sarandos has said like multiple times, like seeing a movie on streaming is more consumer friendly. And look, the movie theater, I've gone on this rant so many times. Going to the movies isn't what it used to be. A couple months ago, or might have been in the summer, Martin Scorsese made a point where he's like, I don't like going to the movies anymore. He's like, I could watch it at home. Martin Scorsese has like an elaborate film set up at his house. That's understandable. He's one of the most successful film directors of all time. He has the ability to do that. But
He's also like 80 and he doesn't want to leave his house too much. I get it.
I also get where he's coming from. I mean,
Yeah.
every time I go to the movie now, there's always going to be somebody on their phone. I got to learn just to deal with that. But it's still a thing. Like, most people get distracted by that. And I mean, some people try to hide it, which, okay, if you're going to do it and I don't want you to do it, that's the way to do it. Most people, I call it Simba-ing their phone. They hold it up like this, and then it's max brightness.
Max brightness. Sometimes the flashlight's on and it's just like, what is going on over here?
You always have people talking. You always have kids sneaking in. Like, going to the theater isn't what it used to be. And I think one thing that I actually think is on AMC and Regal, I was telling you I had something that I had to say for AMC and Regal, because I agree with them not playing Netflix. They need to regulate how their theaters are run better. Audience regulation. Because it's bad. And it's destroyed something I love, because I still love going to the movies. You good?
I'm here. Sorry. Had an issue with the camera. But yeah, you're not wrong. I feel like if they can ensure the theatrical experience is still a priority, that'd be helpful. And that's also on the exhibitioner side for sure. But I want to talk about Netflix CEO, because you mentioned Ted, our good friend Ted over at Netflix, has always been like, I don't think we value the theater experience as much as everyone else. And he actually had a comment this morning where he said, quote, my pushback has been mostly in the fact of long exclusive windows, which we don't really think are that consumer friendly. So the idea is that they're going to continue to release films theatrically. Good. But they're going to shrink the theatrical window, it sounds like, over time. This past year, right, we had, like, Superman was one of their big tentpole movies over the summer. It had, like, a 45-day theatrical release, and then it went to VOD, and then it went to Max. Do we think that's going to shrink down to a month, to 2 weeks, to a limited 1-week release? Like, how far do you think they're going to go?
Netflix, if it was... With Netflix, they just announced today, underneath all this huge news, they just announced the release date for the Peaky Blinders movie coming out next year. The Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. But they announced it is going to have a theatrical release, limited, and then it'll be on Netflix, and they have it 2 weeks later. That's a pattern. Wake Up Dead Man came out in limited theaters. I wanted to see that. They made Glass Onion pretty easy to see with theaters. They didn't do that with Wake Up Dead Man. I watched it last night, but through a screener. Which, that's not how I want to see that movie, but came out in theaters, limited, last weekend. It's going to be on Netflix next week. We just saw Jay Kelly, it's an Oscar contender with George Clooney and Adam Sandler, Noah Baumbach. That just dropped on Netflix today. It premiered in theaters, I think, 2 weeks ago. Might have been 2 or 3. That is what they want. But I think the sweet spot is you do it by a month, which I still don't like. I still hate that. I think these movies, you should have a longer window by at least 2 months. Do it how... I actually think Disney might have the best model with it.
Okay.
Or even Warner Brothers. How Warner Brothers is doing it right now is actually understandable, because I would say Disney's is a little too long. Like,
what's Disney's model for those who don't know?
90 days.
Okay.
And then
that was standard, right? That was pretty much how it was pre-COVID. I'm pretty sure.
But no other studio is doing it like that except Apple, where they wait like 200 days or some shit like that with some of their movies they release, and they do PVOD. And look, I just don't like PVOD in general, but I get why it exists. But yeah, I think the sweet spot is 90 days, but they're not going to do that. I mean, I think the
And
sweet spot is 40 days or 50 days, 90 days for like a big movie. Superman should be 90 days. A Barbie should be 90 days.
yeah, yeah.
But
That speaking of Barbie, that kind of brings up the another question, right? How do we distinguish what's going to even get a theatrical release? Like the tentpole DC stuff, sure, I expect that, but like we had Sinners, right? Is Sinners the type of movie that they would greenlight in the first place? And if they do, would that be a Netflix on streaming day one type of thing? Like that's I don't know if we're gonna get these like one battle after another Sinners, weapons, right? Like, will we get those types of films getting theatrical releases, or is that gonna just be like content fodder for Netflix?
I don't know. And that's the weird thing because it's so funny. I go back always to even like Zaslav demanding they greenlight that movie, The Alto Nights.
Uh huh.
That was like his buddy who made that movie. Would he have demanded that be released in theaters? That's another thing altogether. My main concern, yeah, is what do they consider a theatrical movie? Because I can assure you they wouldn't have released Sinners or Weapons or One Battle as a wide theatrical thing. I
No.
mean, I know in their contracts, Zach Kreger, Ryan Coogler, and Paul Thomas Anderson, they probably demanded theaters. But we've seen Netflix turn away some pretty prestigious directors, even just recently. I look at Zach Kreger, his movie that he's doing after Resident Evil. It's called The Flood. He's teased it in a couple interviews. I asked him about it in my interview with him. And he's like calling it, this might be the best script I've ever written. Like he's like so proud of it. And it's with Amblin, who has Steven Spielberg's company that has a partnership with Netflix. And I guess it was going to be through Netflix. And initially they're like, yeah, we'll give you a theatrical. And then they're like, no, we won't. Just limited. And he's like, what? Then I don't want to make it. You look at Emerald Fennell. Look, her movies aside, say what you will about her movies, they do catch attention. And I mean, Saltburn, that was an Amazon thing that was released on streaming a month after theatrical. But Wuthering Heights, one of the big releases for early next year, Netflix was willing to bid a lot more money to Margot Robbie and Emerald Fennell to make that movie. And they turned it down because they wanted theatrical. And they went, ironically enough, with Warner Brothers. I even look at Greta Gerwig. Like, that was a year-long battle, it felt like, to get this theatrical release for Narnia that's coming a year from now. A little less than a year from now.
Right.
She had to fight like hell. And still, theater owners are pretty pissed off about it. And some of the rival studios are kind of mad about it, too. Which I don't really get that. But they shouldn't. They do the same thing all the time. But that's besides the point. We've seen all these different kinds of filmmakers. Ryan Johnson, he's peeved. He's pissed off about how Netflix has released Wake Up Dead Man. And he wasn't fully satisfied with how they did Glass Onion either. Are they going to have any kinds of filmmakers left? I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah. I want to go to Isaac's comment here that he shared on YouTube. He says, quote, I mean, if they greenlight the likes of The Irishman, I don't see how another Sinners could not happen. It's theater release that is in question. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I guess to me, we can point to The Irishman, right? Like they have movies from established like prestige directors for sure.
This year alone.
Yeah, it's just how many. That's the thing when we do this consolidation method, right? We just took a studio off the board essentially. Like how many of these movies will get greenlit, and will they get those theatrical releases? Because we had Netflix movies and Warner Brothers movies, but now they're all under one banner. How many of those will get produced? I mean, look what happened when we had 20th Century Fox get bought by Disney. The amount of films produced by 20th Century Fox shrunk tremendously. So that's another thing where it's like, we're going to get less of these probably, and we're probably going to churn out more franchise IP because Netflix is going to want to milk that cow probably even more than Warner Brothers wanted to. Over at Discussing Film, they had a tweet, and I'll just read through some of it. They had a tweet saying all of the IP that is going to get swallowed up by Netflix do this acquisition. Friends, Oceans, Gremlins, Evil Dead, Mad Max, The Matrix, Beetlejuice, DC Comics, Adult Swim, The Jetsons, Tom and Jerry, Harry Potter, The Looney Tunes, Rick and Morty, Johnny Bravo, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, The Flintstones, The Powerpuff Girls, Big Bang Theory, all of Turner Classic Movies, Dune, Lord of the Rings, and of course all of Warner Brothers Gaming, like NetherRealm and WB Montreal and Rocksteady.
I forgot. I hope Netflix Games doesn't. Netflix Games is a cool idea. I'll give them that, but it's only on the phone. I hate that.
Yeah.
Make it work on the computer. Make it work on a TV. Then we can talk. Still no.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the gaming side of all of this as well. That could be for the good. That could be for worse. I mean, when Marvel Games launched, we got those awesome Spider-Man games, you know? So, you know, maybe some good can come from that.
Speaking of do you think this means we're finally doing it with Netflix? Are we finally restoring the Snyderverse?
You know, Nate, it's been a long time coming. We called them Mad Men, but this might be destiny fulfilled. You know, the Snyderverse will rise again from the ashes. Let's talk about some of the background stuff of this, though, right? David Zaslav is apparently still going to be in charge of the Warner Brothers side of Netflix, which is interesting. I don't know how long all of this will run for. This could just be a couple years and they, you know, lay people off. That tends to be what happens when these when these mergers go down. But yeah, DC Studios is apparently going to run unaffected. I just don't know what happens with a lot of the shows, you know? Like, will Lanterns go to Netflix? Like, what happens with HBO and Netflix and the split between those two?
I will say anytime there's these studio, you know, mergers, it always takes a couple years, even after the official announcement. Look at Disney, and I think Disney in 20th Century was a major example because that was announced early 2017 that it was moving forward. It took, I think, until it finally became, I think, official in like early 2020, right before the pandemic started. I believe that's the case. Because that's when it became 20th Century Studios. Paramount Skydance, that was in the works since last year. That one took a year, but at the same time, it took a while to get to that point. So I think it all depends on, you know, how long this process is gonna take. Because we already know that our government, for once, maybe for their own ulterior motives.
I was about to say, don't spin this as a good thing.
Opposing morals, they're not for this merger either. They wanted the other person who was a big candidate, which was Paramount Skydance, the Ellison family.
Yep.
So they might try to shake this up. And I mean, even yesterday, they sent like a letter being like, oh, Netflix isn't playing fair. This isn't fair. Blah, 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 blah. It sounded really whiny and everything. And it was almost like, I don't want to root for Netflix, but you're kind of making me because you sound like you sound like Veruca Salt, Warner Brothers property.
This is the whole other page of it. And we can talk about just the legal implications of this. Obviously, we're reaching monopoly territory, and so the U.S. government is going to step in. And like you're saying, the Ellison family and the Trump administration are two peas in a pod, and so they're probably going to try and fight this off. I thought this was very interesting coming out of a Deadline article when they were talking about the legality of it all. They were basically saying that Netflix has a Trump transaction tax, that they have a game plan in place. Basically, they're going to like guarantee that they're going to make most of these projects in the United States, something that Donald Trump really, really loves.
How can you make a Call of Duty movie in the U.S.? That doesn't make sense. Paramount's in Call of Duty.
That's valid. But apparently, like
that terrible Johnny Depp one we talked about, that's set in England. Yeah. I think it's set in Europe. Yeah, it has to be. Why are you filming that in the U.S.? It's not period specific. And that's besides the point. Sorry. Go on.
No, but it's just apparently they do have a game plan to try and schmooze their way with Donald Trump. Netflix CEO Ted, good buddy Ted, friend of the show. This is a bit. But apparently he did meet with Trump like early last year. And in this article, it's like he's donated to Democrats before, but he and Trump seem to be on good terms. Whatever that means. It'll basically be up to Paramount and Yellowstone to see how much of a fit they throw. Because Trump might just let this slide. The FCC and the DOJ is the concern. Huh?
I will say most CEOs of these studios are chummy with Donald Trump. Zaslav was. I mean, Iger could say things that are opposing, but we saw even some of his recent comments about dialing it back on messaging in their movies that are not even messaging.
Yeah.
You know, all of them are. So it's not just a Ted Sarandos thing. I think it's just all these CEOs that are, but there's some more than others, and I think the Ellisons were definitely the most.
For sure.
Because we already saw with the upcoming Legacy sequel that's coming up.
Yeah. this will be interesting. Ted Sarandos made another comment because, of course, they had to release a giant statement this morning. He said, quote, "Our mission has always been to entertain the world by combining Warner Brothers' incredible library of shows and movies, from timeless classics like Casablanca and Citizen Kane to modern favorites like Harry Potter and Friends." Friends is a 30-year-old show, but okay. With our culture-defining titles like Stranger Things, K-pop Demon Hunters, and Squid Game, we'll be able to do that even better. Together, we can give audiences more of what they love and help define the next century of storytelling. That's a possibility. Again, this is the good PR spin on all of it. Will we get movies like Casablanca and Citizen Kane from Netflix, Warner Brothers? That's to be seen. And like you mentioned K-pop Demon Hunters before, and we mentioned this on a previous episode, K-pop Demon Hunters is such a unique case because that found success on Netflix and then went theatrical. So I wonder how many of these films are going to end up going that route as well, where it needs to find like a fan base on streaming and then get a limited release.
I don't know. And I think Netflix has some pretty horrible like franchise management too.
Yeah.
Like maybe the worst, because some of these blockbusters, look, I get that they're working on their own, like trying to make their own IP or something. At the same time, I mean, they did have the Knives Out movies, but they refused to give those theatrical. We have K-pop Demon Hunters is like the first like movie franchise that they've been trying for. But, you know, remember when they tried to make Bright the next big thing, or Rebel Moon, or Red Notice, or...
So that's my thing. Do we think that they just did... Do we think it's because they didn't have good IP and they were trying to make original IP? Do we think that now that they have Harry Potter and DC and The Matrix and Mad Max, do we think that now means we're going to get better things from Netflix? Is that no? Because it could be they just didn't have good IP, but now they have freaking Batman. And so when we do 20 Batman things, the quality's automatically going to improve because it's Batman.
I don't know, because I mean, even right now, do you think everything they've released of Batman in the last like 5 years is great. Do you think Bat Wheels or Bat Fam? Like, do you think those are
That's
like gold standard A plus plus plus?
that's fair, but I feel like because now Netflix. I mean, because hold on, I had a tweet here that I thought was really funny. Netflix spent $320 million on the Electric State. They know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
No, but like they spent $320 million on the freaking Electric State. Imagine if they put that money towards a Matrix movie. What does that make? Does that make the quality go up? Are they going to bring in the creators of the Matrix to help make another Matrix movie, or is it just going to be more
Russo's?
streaming fodder?
Is it going to be the Russo's?
That's yeah, gosh.
No, that's the scary thing is nobody really wants to work with Netflix right now. There's a couple.
Right.
Most of them want to work with them on TV, which I think is totally fine. I think I kind of wanted to bring up like all the different prestige filmmakers that have even worked with Netflix recently, like Del Toro. David Fincher is kind of stuck with Netflix for forever, how long, I don't know. But he has that Cliff Booth movie that's coming next year that Netflix is doing. We had a new Catherine Bigelow movie this year. Obviously, years back, we had Martin Scorsese do The Irishman. We've had Jane Campion. We've had Alfonso Cuarón. We've had Bong Joon-ho. We've had who else this year? Noah Baumbach. Greta Gerwig is next year. Like, we've had some prestigious filmmakers work with Netflix, but they don't usually go back to them. They just work with Netflix to get their passion project off the ground.
Yeah.
After a while, I don't think many people will want to, continue working with them. Like, and that's the scary thing because all of them care about theatrical, except the Russos.
Yeah. Well, the Russos are the Russos, so like But do we think that's where the Warner Brothers side of it kind of helps that? Like, I'm just playing devil's advocate, trying to find a bright spot here. But like, we had the great year that Warner Brothers had this year with their theatrical releases. Will that convince filmmakers to say, hey, if we do this under the Warner Brothers banner and we get our 2-week release window or whatever it is in theaters, I'm cool with that, as opposed to working just directly with Netflix, because you're still going to go through Zaslav, right? You're still going to go through DeLuca. If you're doing a DC thing, it's still going to go through James Gunn. So do we think that gives Netflix more opportunities to do theatrical simply by having Warner Brothers?
I don't know. And I mean, I feel like it's also after years of everybody hating David Zaslav.
Yeah.
I feel like I was finally coming around on the guy because I'm like, look, he was the guy who brought on James Gunn and Peter Safran. He was the guy who hired Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi.
Yep.
Look how that turned out. Best year for Warner Brothers. Then he just goes behind and just does this.
He had to get the stock high, man. You know how it works.
Yeah.
Because he did all that banging the drum of like, we've got to get DC in order. They made one good movie, and he's just like, perfect. I can sell high. Why we're up here?
What was your question?
I don't know.
Now? I was reading the comments.
Yeah, we have a bunch of angry emojis, and then Isaac's in here, dropping some good points. If they didn't stop the Microsoft and Activision Blizzard merger, they might not stop this. That's fair. I will say, when it comes to gaming and tech, they're way less knowledgeable. They'll be like, hey, I know Netflix. Hey, I know HBO. That's a lot.
Yeah.
They're not that bright. I'm going to be real. Distribution through WBD is possible. That's what I was just saying, actually. But my question for you, Nate, was, does having the Warner Brother crew lessen, like you were talking about the relationship that like AMC has with Netflix, since they do have an okay relationship with Zaslav, would they be more open to working with Netflix on some of these projects and these releases? It was basically the question I was asking.
Maybe. It's really hard to say. I mean, I know there's some people who are like, oh, they should just boycott all Warner Brothers movies. And it's like, I don't think that's a good solution either. There's people who still want to see these big event movies in the theater who do not live in New York or LA. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, those are really soon enough, the only people living in big cities are going to be the ones being able to enjoy a Netflix movie on like a Saturday. But who knows? I mean, maybe they will be willing to work with them a little more. I think it's all about this window that initially Ted Sarandos was like, oh, for now, it'll be the same. And then he was like, nah, never mind. Like 2 hours later, he made a new comment. He's like, oh, yeah, we want to shorten the windows.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what comes of all of this.
I think the one thing is it could backfire if I was just reading a comment. It could backfire if, there is a full-on boycott before any movie releases. Like, if they realize it's like, okay, we're going to miss out on all this money, maybe they'd reconsider. But I don't know.
I probably lost the tweet because you know how Twitter can be, but I'm pretty sure the Directors Guild and SAG all had comments on this as well, and their concerns about this, and they're like going to be writing statements to Netflix regarding this potential merger. Yeah, it's fascinating, dude. I'm just excited for the Stranger Things crossover we're going to get in 2029. Yeah. That's going to be sick. We all know what's going to happen.
Alt Finn Wolfhard.
Right? No, but there's so many unknowns to this. I do want to mention a positive, though. It's not Paramount Skydance. Yay! Yeah. All of the comments and like the reporting we had from that showed that was going to be like the worst case scenario, where it was just going to be
Rush Hour Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, it's just going to be Donald Trump saying, "Make this movie that I want to see," and they're just going to make 5 Rush Hour movies for some reason.
Hell yeah!
I still can't believe that happened, bro. It's so weird. But yeah, like, out of all of the possible scenarios, this is probably the second worst, but it's not the worst, so count our blessings. I'm just looking at our doc here. And Chad, if you have any questions or comments, keep dropping them. Love reacting to what you guys are saying. I think we hit all the major points. We kind of just have to wait to see what comes of this from the FTC, from the DOJ, and if Donald Trump has any comments. I don't think he's made any statements yet so far.
What if he just comes out and has like the most out of left field topic and he starts talking about the big screen? He won't. He's not the Pope. The Pope, did you see the Pope's recent comments about movie theaters?
No. What did the Pope have to say?
Oh, he was like praising movie theaters.
Based.
Like, yeah, it's great.
We love our Midwestern Pope.
I know, he's so great. Donald Trump isn't the Pope, so.
He never will be. Though I have beef with the Pope this week because it's Packers-Bears week. So he's my enemy. But I'm looking here, and we have a tweet from Discussing Film. Warner Brothers in talks to license DCIP to Universal theme parks. So Universal gets something. Good for them. Outside of that, of course, Ted Sarandos had the comment of 45-day release windows. He said that was too long. He said that in April. So we can expect them to be shorter, probably significantly shorter.
Love that.
So that's going to be great. I think that's everything that we have so far. Nothing else. We can talk Critics' Choice if you want. We can go through some other stories if you want.
Hey, it's one more thing about this. Remember when all this started happening? The streaming wars?
Uh-huh.
Like, for a little bit, it was like everyone was taking their stuff off Netflix. Now it's all going back onto Netflix. Like, what's up with that?
It's because they lost. It's because they lost the streaming wars. And when the streaming wars were happening, we were all like, this bubble's gonna burst, because once everybody has to pay for every streaming service, it's no longer a deal, and people just subscribe and cancel when they want to. Like I'm sure there's somebody who only cared about Stranger Things, and so they're subscribing to Netflix for like two months to watch the last season of Stranger Things, and they're gonna cancel.
But that's the one thing that Teddy keeps dropping consumer friendly. Big Ted, he was like consumer friendly. We were consumer friendly. The only thing that was initially consumer friendly was that we had all these things under Netflix, not all these other kinds of streaming services. Like we just had three. We had Netflix, we had Amazon Prime, and we had Hulu. That was simpler times. That was a little more consumer friendly than now when we have like 1,600 different streaming services. Every studio except Sony has to have a streaming service. So I guess you could like check off Netflix will raise their price, but in turn, you won't have to pay for HBO Max anymore, I don't think.
So you will, because they're going to keep HBO Max active. They're going to do the Disney Hulu thing where they're going to have two services. But one of the notes that they had in here is that if you subscribe to both, you can get a bundle to save some money. And so I feel like part of our concern earlier was kind of that consolidation, right? I think they want to keep the Warner Brothers branding. They want to keep the HBO branding, right? And part of what Warner Brothers learned and how they went back to HBO Max is that HBO's name meant something. And I think Netflix is at least smart enough to know that hey, our good shit goes to HBO. The Game of Thrones, right? The Sopranos.
I don't know if Game of Thrones is that great anymore after that last season of House of the Dragon.
That's valid, but you get the idea. Like all of the Netflix originals that everybody forgets after a week won't be a Max or an HBO show. So they're gonna keep both of them up. I wonder for how long. I feel like by 2031, HBO and HBO Max might just vanish, and there might just be an HBO tab in Netflix. But for now, they're keeping them open. And so, yeah, that's still not very consumer friendly because you're going to need to subscribe to both.
Yeah. Dang.
Interesting stuff, man. Anything else you want to cover, or are we calling this a stream?
Critics' Choice. I guess we could talk about that a little bit. Sinners.
Sure.
Doing well. Our great movie. Deserved. Kind of mad.
I haven't seen these nominations, so take me through them.
Okay. Do you want me to start with Best Picture? We have Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, that's Warner Brothers, Sentimental Value, Sinners, that's Warner Brothers, Train Dreams, and Wicked for Good.
Interesting.
Do you want to comment on any of those?
Wicked for Good feels like it's just here because everybody loved the last one. I'm gonna be completely real. I don't know if it needs to be here.
No, Avatar is a little weird. I've seen all but Hamnet. I am watching Hamnet today. I finally got a screener for it last night.
Marty, is that a good movie? That's the next one I plan on seeing. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, that comes out Christmas Day, I think, and it's up there with One Battle as my favorite movie of the year. Like,
wow.
It up there with Sinners, One Battle, and Weapons. Like I don't know how to. I think One Battle, but like One Battle and Marty are like neck and neck for me. Marty's awesome.
That's awesome. I saw all the reviews come in. I'm like, oh, I expected this to be good. I didn't expect it to be that good. So I can't wait to go check it out this weekend.
Have you? It doesn't come out until Christmas.
Shoot. Dang it. My Fandango lied to me. It was like, get tickets now. And I'm like, oh, that means it's out now. And it's like, nope.
Yeah. Uncut. So did you like Uncut Gems?
Yeah, loved it.
Okay, then you'll like this because it's very much that Safdie.
Ooh.
This is one other thing I wanted to bring up actually with the studios and filmmakers that goes back to our streaming conversation. I'm getting sidetracked, but this is important because we're talking about Marty Supreme. And that's a big thing for A24. Because this
Yeah.
movie has a 70 to 90 million dollar budget. And A24 is trying to make bigger and bigger movies. And I've seen a lot of talk. It's like, can A24 stay alive? Because like right now, A24 is kind of looking like the hero of cinema. At the same time, the Smashing Machine that they spent a lot of money on bombed. Marty Supreme. I hope it does well. I don't know. But that was just a side note. That's a conversation. That's a whole other can of worms. But
So we can stay with this can of worms because we just got a message from the Writers Guild of America.
oh,
So we're going backwards. This is coming from Variety. The Writers Guild said in a statement, quote, the world's largest streaming company swallowed one of its biggest competitors in what antitrust laws were designed to prevent. The outcome would eliminate jobs, push down wages, worsen conditions for all entertainment workers, raise prices for consumers, and reduce the volume and diversity of content for all viewers. Industry workers, along with the public, are already impacted by only a few powerful companies maintaining tight control over what consumers can watch on television, on streaming, and in theaters. This merger must be blocked. I'm not surprised that the Writers Guild feels this way. And my understanding of how Netflix handles their outsourcing of scripts is they don't take mini pitches, if at all. And so while Warner Brothers is one of like the last old school style studios, where like, hey, if you have a movie and you're in the guild, you can pitch it and hopefully you can get a pass on your script. Netflix will just cut off an avenue entirely for writers in Hollywood.
yeah. I mean, Warner Brothers, though, some of their biggest hits this year, they won like how Netflix would as a package.
Yeah.
Sinners was a package. Like that was shopped around to various different movie studios before it landed at Warner Brothers. So was Weapons. I forget.
Yep.
I don't know if One Battle was or not because I know PTA and Mike DeLuca are like old time friends. So maybe that's a little different. But I mean, I think it's a big concern for the WGA. Could there be another strike over this? Because that could.
Oh gosh.
I don't think that would be a smart idea. I thought the original strike was great.
Yeah, I mean, everything's been signed already. I don't think they have just cause to go on strike right now. But this is an interesting statement. I wonder how far this goes because, like we were saying earlier, they all were drafting statements. So I wonder what the DGA is going to.
You know who's the president of the DGA?
For the listeners, who?
You say his name.
I'm not. No.
You know it's Nolan. Big Chris.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to be thrilled about this?
Of course not. You know he left WB. Chris Nolan left WB for very similar concerns. So I know he's fuming right now.
I will say I'm all in for a W Chris Nolan take and a W James Cameron take, JC take as well, after a week full of L's for Quentin Tarantino. So
what is up with Tarantino and Paul Dano? What is going on?
I don't know. I feel like Paul Dano is one of those actors who's not even online. So I'd like to imagine he's completely unaware of this. That would be incredible. Like, if Matt Reeves texted him, he's like, "Hope you're doing okay, buddy," and he's like, "What?"
My favorite tweet from all of this was just created a million Paul Danos. Everyone's like, "What are we doing, Quentin Tarantino?" For those who aren't online, Quentin Tarantino made some crazy comments about Paul Dano. He was like, he's weak sauce, man, not a good actor.
Worst actor in SAG.
And we're the worst, really? Like, dude. Anyway, all of Hollywood's just like, yeah, Paul Dano's great, dude. You know how hard it is to get Matt Reeves to have to just come on Twitter randomly and just, like, defend one of his actors? Like, okay. Random beef.
Say I need I don't think he's worked with Aaron Sorkin, but I need Aaron Sorkin to go on Jessica Chastain's like Instagram again and write a whole message like he did when the New York Times did a profile on Jeremy Strong. They just said a slightly negative comment, being like he's a method actor. Don't approach him when he's on set. And Aaron Sorkin's like, "How dare you?" I want that, but I want a fuming response from Chris Nolan over this. Also, QT.
Yeah.
No one's talking. Everyone's talking Paul Dano. Did you see QT also went after my guy Owen Wilson, my fellow blonde?
I saw that. That's the one I saw first. I'm like, what did Owen Wilson do to you, dude?
No one's defending my guy. Wedding Crashers. It's a classic.
It's sad how nobody came to that man's defense. It just got buried under the million Paul Danos.
I just love the Matt Reeves one so much. We love.
Yeah. Somebody already did a parody of the "We Are Charlie Kirk" meme, and they're like, "We are Paul Dano."
I want like all of the comedians would like Joe Rogan was like under fire for being stupid. I mean, one of the initial ones when like Neil Young like pulled off his stuff and all of Joe Rogan's comedian friends posted like Instagram black and white photos of them with him. I just want all of them posting black and white photos of them with their arms around Paul Dano. Proud to be Paul's friend.
That'd be great.
Paul.
I'm checking to see if we've missed anything else. I think we've hit all the major points. Go.
I would say, do we want to go back to the Critics' Choice?
We can. That's a great thing about doing this live. We can just go with whatever's going on right now. We can kind of ebb and flow with it.
Yeah, all right. I will read through Best Actor. Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. Joel
No
Egerton
surprise.
for Train Dreams, which
Oh, wow.
I'll say what's been kind of snubbed here that I'm shocked because I love Train Dreams, but he's taking the place of somebody I think gives maybe the best performance of the year. Ethan
Not to
Hawke-
derail us so right quick, but since you mentioned it, our Chris Nolan plans to meet with Netflix later this week.
Hell yeah, Chris. Big Chris.
Big Chris coming in,
Big
making
Jim.
moves.
Big
Let's move back. Let's move back to
Alright.
Critics' Choice. I just had to throw that out there while I saw it because, like, you just mentioned him. We got to move on with that. But
Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon. Michael B. Jordan in Sinners. And Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Who's missing is Jesse Plemons for Begonia. Which
oh yeah,
maybe the best performance I've seen all year, besides somebody else that I won't name yet. But any thoughts on those?
it's kind of an expected list, except for Plemons not making it. I do want to know, how do you weight Michael B. Jordan's performances in Sinners? Because he is playing two characters.
I think they just combine it as one. I don't know.
No, but I'm saying, like, in your head, when you're like, well, he put in more work and he brought two different characters and made them feel drastically different. Does that weigh more than, say, DiCaprio? I'm just asking, like, your thought process if you were a voter here.
I don't know, because I feel like Sinners, I think he's going to be nominated. I think he deserves to be nominated.
Yeah.
But his dual roles in Sinners is a very movie star part that we've seen big movie stars play before.
Yeah.
I think Michael B. Jordan does it even better because it's one of the best like dual performances, because his characters of Smoke and Stack have such different personalities that it's like you're able to tell, like, even though they both look like Michael B. Jordan, you could tell their difference just by their mannerisms.
Right.
I mean, I would probably be voting. He would be in my top 5, I would say.
Gotcha.
This list is great just to begin with. It's like, there's really not a weak link in here. I wasn't as big on The Secret Agent as some people are. I need to revisit it. But Wagner Moura is insanely freaking good in that movie. And he could be winning. He could be our best actor winner.
I've got a lot of catching up to do, so I'll be watching most of these movies probably in the coming weeks.
Yes.
As I do my award season binge watch at the end of the year that I typically do.
Best actress, it's Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, who is our, like, without a doubt, our big front runner. Rose
Mhm.
Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, which incredible. Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another. Indiana, represent Hoosier. Renata Rhymesev for Sentimental Value. Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee. I keep on wanting to say Ang Lee, like the filmmaker. Cliff loves him too. So,
Yep.
And Emma Stone for Begonia, which I loved Begonia, and I'm not even a big Lanthimos fan. So, and
That's what I'm surprised by is that Begonia seems like it did something different where it got you, it hooked you more than his previous ones.
I mean, I love The Favorite. I just wasn't big on Poor Things as much as others were.
Fair.
But I don't know. It was something. Maybe I should give Poor Things another shot. Noticeably missing is Cynthia Erivo for Wicked for Good, even though that's nominated for Best Picture, and we'll get to another nominee later. Best Supporting Actor, Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another. Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, A+. Like, that's another movie I really liked but didn't love, but he's, like, remarkable in it.
Yeah, I feel like that's Elordi's best performance, where you're kind of like, oh, I didn't think you were that great of an actor, but I've kind of got one over.
Oh, yeah, I'm a huge fan of him now just because of that.
Yeah.
Paul Mescal in Hamnet, again, that's the one big contender that I have left to see besides Avatar. Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, which, I mean, Sean Penn's a crazy man, but he's a good actor. Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly, which I love Adam Sandler. He's remarkable in Jay Kelly. Movie I thought was good, not great. And Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value, which he's kind of more of a lead, but what can you do? Any thoughts?
Sounds like a good list. I still need to see a good chunk of these movies, but again, I'm glad Elordi's getting recognition. That's a role that he was great in, but also I could see getting snubbed a little bit. So
I hope he's almost like last year. I was like in the bag for Monica Barbaro for The Complete Unknown, and like after spending so much time being like, I don't like Euphoria, I refuse to watch it. Jacob Elordi, overrated, should not be our next Bond. Blah blah blah. I saw him in Frankenstein, a movie that again I had issues with even as a big Del Toro fan, and I was just like, oh my god, give this man every award. So I hope he gets nominated. I don't know. I think it's between him and Sandler for that final slot in the Academy Awards.
Okay.
Supporting actress, Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value. Ariana Grande, Wicked for Good. Inga Ibsdottir Lilas for Sentimental Value. My favorite performance of the year is Amy Madigan in Weapons. Wunmi Masaku for Sinners. And Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Great list.
I have a question for you though. Why is Ariana Grande nominated, but Cynthia Erivo isn't? I don't think Ariana was that much better than her.
I don't know. I think Best Supporting Actress is more up like in the air versus like Best Actress. I can't. Again, I'm gonna say a movie I liked but didn't love was The Testament of Anne Lee. But Amanda Seyfried, like I would not swap her out at all.
Yeah.
Jessie Buckley's our front runner. Rose Byrne, I hope and pray she's gonna get nominated. Chase Infinity, One Battle. She's just I don't know. I feel like she might be the one who's not. But I just don't know who I'd swap out versus supporting actress. I think it was easier to get in. Like I would take out Elle Fanning. Like she's really good in Sentimental Value, but I mean, I actually found her even better in Predator Badlands. My bias with that movie aside, she's more of like a comic relief in Sentimental Value. Oh hell yeah! I'm sorry. Best Young Actor has a nomination that has me very excited. So for Best Young Actor Actress, we have Everett Blunk for The Plague, which I told you about this movie. It kind of made me ponder back to childhood trauma and everything. But that's because it's so freaking accurate to what it's like to being 12 years old and how terrible and ruthless 12-year-old boys are with
Yeah.
bullying and everything. And this kid is just like remarkable in this movie. I was really able to see myself in that lead character very much. And I think a lot of people will as well. I hope more people see that movie. Miles Catan for Sinners, which I think he's going to win. I'm shocked he hasn't booked more roles yet since Sinners, but I think he's more of a musician than an actor. But he should continue acting because I think he's very, very good.
He was very good.
Carrie Christopher for Weapons, very good. Shannon Mahina Gorman for Rental Family. She is the most precocious, like adorable girl in that movie. Like you're just like, I wish, you instantly care just because that kid is so doggone cute. Jacoby Jupe for Hamnet. Haven't seen yet. Again. And Nina Yi for Left-Handed Girl. Haven't seen that, but I know Sean Baker co-wrote it. Any thoughts on those?
Not really. Again, this was a really bad year for movies for me, so I need to just play catch up. Is there any surprises to you in this category?
I mean, this isn't a category that's at the Oscars, but I mean, Critics' Choice, it's a big deal when you're nominated, and I'm just very happy for Everett Blanc for The Plague because I think he's very, very good in that movie. And
nice.
I think a lot of critics, and even in my Critics Code, I think a lot of people saw that in their inbox and were like, what is this? And then watched it and were like, holy crap, this movie's like really good. And I will go on to, I will say, I have seen more movies at this point than I have in past years. I'm at 135 movies of the new releases this year.
I'm at 20. This is a really down year for me.
Yeah, it's been wild. And I went to South by Southwest, but I didn't go to, Toronto. But my local film festival, Heartland Film Festival, they put on like a great fest this year. They had a lot of different movies that I saw. And then just screeners have helped carry me through as well. As I'm now a member of the IFJA, the Indiana Film Journalists Association, which big fan of it.
Awesome.
Shout out to
That's
them.
Great, dude. That's great.
Best Director.
Ooh.
Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. That's expected.
No surprise there.
Ryan Coogler for Sinners.
No surprise there.
I can never pronounce Del Toro. Del Toro for Frankenstein. I always feel bad because I love him to death, but GDT, Frankenstein. Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme. Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value. And Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. Now, there is one movie missing on here that, oh man, it wasn't even nominated in Best Picture. That's wild. And it was just an accident. And no Park Chan-wook for No Other Choice. So that's a little surprising, I'll say.
This is a close one to me.
It's definitely between PTA and Ryan Coogler in my personal race. Or Josh Safdie, but I would rather see PTA and Ryan Coogler.
For sure.
Again, haven't seen Hamnet. And then I'll do the last of the big two. I'll go scroll through a couple others, though. Best Original Screenplay, we have Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, Sinners, Weapons, Sorry Baby, very good underrated movie, and Sentimental Value. Any thoughts?
Not really. It's to be expected from this list, I'd say.
Adapted Screenplay is One Battle After Another,
Right.
Train Dreams, No Other Choice, Frankenstein, Begonia, and Hamnet. Pretty good.
Yep. Another where it's like looking at the actor and the director's list, to be expected.
You know what? I'm gonna just continue going on through this because I mean I think those are the big categories that we
Yeah,
can
for sure.
comment on, but I could speed run through these. Best casting and ensemble. We have Hamnet, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Wicked for Good. Makes sense. Best cinematography, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and hell yeah, Train Dreams. It's just called Train Dreams.
Let's go.
Cinematography is really good in that movie. Oh, wow. Best production design, The Fantastic Four First Steps.
Huh.
Good production design, I would say.
Very good. I actually rewatched it over Thanksgiving with my folks. They haven't seen it. Solid movie. Production design, really good.
Frankenstein, makes sense. Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sinners, and Wicked for Good. Okay, makes sense. Best editing, A House of Dynamite, F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Perfect Neighbor. If you want to watch a movie that will ruin your day, watch The Perfect Neighbor. Jesus.
Dang, dude.
Very good, but very hard to watch. And Sinners. Best costume design, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Hedda. Haven't seen that one yet. Kiss of the Spider Woman. Actually, I really enjoyed that movie. Sinners and Wicked for Good. Best hair and makeup. 28 years later, they got the makeup right on the zombie dong in that movie. So, Frankenstein, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, Weapons, and Wicked for Good. They did a good job painting her green. I don't know.
I guess.
Oh wow! So visual effects is Avatar: Fire and Ash. There it is. F1, Frankenstein, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Sinners, and Superman. No Fantastic Four there.
Interesting.
Superman and Fantastic Four kind of swap places. Honestly, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like Superman was solid. This is obviously Avatar's award, though. Who are we kidding?
Oh, I know. I was just saying, I think
Yeah,
Fantastic
for sure.
Four had the better production design, but Superman had the better visual effects. Didn't have a CGI baby.
It's the dude, the baby. It's even worse on Disney Plus.
I can imagine. Best stunt design. That's soon going to be an Academy Award nomination. So's casting. Ballerina, F1, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Warfare. Well, weird that they don't have Avatar on there, but okay. Best animated feature, Arco. Just watched that this past week. Wasn't really a fan of it. Elio, have not seen. I don't know if I ever will. In Your Dreams, also not seen. Mike, your favorite movie, K-pop Demon Hunters. I like that movie. It's probably going to win.
Yeah, it's a solid movie.
Little Amelie, or The Characters of Rain, or actually, as much as people like to root against Disney, Zootopia 2, which could also win. Very, very
So good. I haven't seen Zootopia yet. I feel like this is a two-man race. Is it going to be Zootopia or K-pop Demon Hunters? What's your call?
I don't know. I know a lot of people are like kind of blown away by how much they liked Zootopia 2. And it's very good. It's like definitely of the Walt Disney Animation Studios sequels, it's definitely the best.
Okay.
And you're going to say, oh, wow. But then you look back at their other sequels and it's Frozen 2 and Wreck-It Ralph 2. And Moana 2. Like, what are you going to do? Like this.
Yeah, I know. That's like when you said it, it's like not a high bar, but still like there are things I liked in Frozen too, you know.
Well, I guess Fantasia 2000 was another one, and The Rescuers Down Under. But I mean,
we're going way back.
Yeah.
I feel like I know we were joking, but it's like I feel like K-pop Demon Hunters took off because of the lack of animated movies this year. Yeah. Like it's a solid movie. Don't get me wrong; it is a good movie, but it's like you were going through that list. I'm like, man, there was nothing between K-pop Demon Hunters and Zootopia.
There is literally, it's been not a great year for animation at all.
Which is crazy coming off of last year where we had some pretty stellar movies.
Well, the Academy kept shifting into more like art house animation winners. I mean, we had Boy and the
Yeah.
Heron, which I know that's Miyazaki. He's a household name everywhere, really. With Boy and the Heron beating Spider-Verse. That was still unexpected. And then last year, I think even bigger surprise was Flow overtaking The Wild Robot. And the kind of indie animated darling this year is Arco, which, again, I've seen. I do not think that movie has the support and honestly the quality to take over Zootopia 2 or K-pop Demon Hunters.
Doesn't have the sauce.
It's basically just Euro Studio Ghibli, but not nearly as good
Interesting.
at all. It almost feels like it's a pale imitation. Best comedy, The Ballad of Wallace Island. Heard good things. I've not watched that yet. Eternity, one of the biggest surprises of the year. I really love that. Friendship, hilarious. The Naked Gun, great. The Phoenician Scheme, I liked, but as a big Wes Anderson fan, that's the first movie of his that I just liked but didn't love. Keep saying liked but didn't love, but
Man.
and Splitsville, which just watched the other week. Super, super underrated movie. I think I told you about this movie. It's about these two schlubby guys. One is married to Dakota Johnson. One's married to Adria Arjona. And it's about open relationships. When I saw that trailer, I'm like, I hate this. This is so unrealistic. Those two dudes would never score them. Then I watched the movie and I was like, this is a really good movie. It's really funny. It's great.
That's great. I remember you were talking about this, and the plot of it is still so interesting. I'm down to check it out one day.
Best foreign language film. It Was Just an Accident. Very, very good. Left-Handed Girl. No Other Choice. The Secret Agent. Surah. I'm probably going to watch that this weekend. And Bailin. Best song. I don't even remember this. Drive from Ed Sheeran from F1. I loved F1. I don't remember the Ed Sheeran song. Golden.
Was it at the credits of the movie?
I don't know. They had like several songs. They had like a Tate McRae song too that I kind of liked. Reasons. The music video is good. Never mind.
Golden, you said, was the next one.
Yeah, from
Huntrix.
K-pop Demon Hunters. Yes.
Good song.
I Lied to You from Sinners. That's the one that Miles Catan plays, Church Boy.
Yep.
Clothed by the Sun from The Testament of Anne Lee. I didn't really think the music in that movie was like super memorable, but I mean, it's well staged. Train Dreams by Nick Cave. And can you guess what movie that's from?
No.
It's from F1. Obvious. No, it's Train Dreams. Good song.
I'm like, it's got to be Train Dreams, but is this a trick question? I'm like, there's a train in Wicked, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, and then yeah, The Girl in the Bubble, which is Ariana's new song.
So, as somebody who's never seen the stage play, how many songs were original to this movie?
Just two.
Okay.
Girl in the Bubble. I haven't seen the stage musical either, but I just know from knowing. You know more Broadway than I do, so I'm shocked you didn't.
I've never seen Wicked, so like I didn't know. I'm like, can I tell which one was added?
There's only two new songs in all of those two movies because part one didn't have anything new.
Yeah.
And then this Girl in the Bubble was the one that Galinda sings to herself.
Now it's just Glinda, but yes.
Yep. Glinda. And then Elphaba's new song was There's No Place Like Home, I think. Something.
Yeah, that's one that felt kind of out of place. I'm like, this is too Wizard of Oz inspired for.
She sang good.
Yeah.
It's not a good song, I don't think at all.
Yeah. That's the one where I'm like, I feel like this has to be an addition. This does not feel natural to this story.
No.
But Cynthia killed it. But yeah, not a great song.
She's a great singer. One of the best. Best score, we have F1. We have Frankenstein.
Ooh.
Well, F1 is Hans Zimmer. Frankenstein is Alexander Desplat. Hamnet is Max Richter. Marty Supreme is Daniel Lopatin. One Battle After Another, which is Johnny Greenwood. And Sinners, which is Ludwig Göransson. To me, that's the 2-horse race between Johnny and Ludwig. Very good scores.
Incredible.
Best sound. F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Surratt, and Warfare. And that concludes the nominees for movies. We don't need to go through TV.
I feel like best sound. Oof. Would One Battle After Another be the pick there? Or would it be F1? I haven't seen those two movies yet, so I'm asking your opinion.
To me, the winner should be Warfare. I think the sound of that movie is like insane. Did you ever see Civil War?
Yeah, I did.
Think of that, like the scene with Jesse Plemons. Think of that on steroids, the sound design, and that's Warfare. It is. But I think One Battle and Sinners are just really good as well. And I think after all of these movies, it's been a good year for sound design where I'm like, I'm paying attention to it more and more now.
Nice.
I'm like 28 years later, I also had some exceptional sound work.
Yeah.
We've
got a couple other stories that broke while you were going through the nominations. We are having a re-release of Lord of the Rings next year for the 25th anniversary. Awesome for Warner Brothers and theatrical releases.
Oh, yeah.
Avengers Endgame also getting a re-release ahead of Doomsday. That's going to be in September.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Simpsons 2 movie got delayed to September 3rd, 2027.
No! But I'm excited.
I know. Is there anything you wanted to talk about from those 3 stories? You're interested in going to see the extended editions of Lord of the Rings?
I've seen... I saw when they did it last year. They did a extended version for Fathom events, and I saw Return of the King. And I didn't do the others, and it was like because I saw my roommate is a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I saw it with him and his dad, and my roommate's like, "Why are you just seeing Return of the King but not the others?" I'm like, it's time. I don't have time, but maybe I'll go back.
Fair.
I mean, that was a long time to have my butt down in the theater, so.
Yeah, the good thing about Lord of the Rings is I've seen them, so if I need to step out for a minute, I can do that.
Yeah. That's...
Endgame getting a re-release, I think, is interesting. I feel like you've got to release Infinity War 2, so it's kind of strange they're just doing one.
Yeah.
September 25th for the Avengers re-release. It's not even releasing near Doomsday, so I don't know why we're doing that, but okay.
I mean, I think they're trying to do like what they do with like Avatar, but it's like people remember what happens in Avengers Endgame. You literally release so much you can't forget.
I also don't know if it's relevant to what's going to happen in Doomsday. Like that
not.
Avengers team's not even going to be in that movie.
I guess maybe it's. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like that.
It's kind of weird, but yeah. Big day for news. If I'm sure by the time this stream ends, there's going to be something else that breaks. But this has been a fun conversation, Nate. I'm excited to see what comes of the Critics' Choice Award nominees. And of course, I'm a little scared about what's going to happen with Netflix and Warner Brothers, but you know, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Of course, like we said earlier, the WGA had a statement saying that this can't go through. So we'll see if that has any weight when this goes to the courts. Any final thoughts from you, buddy?
I think that's about it.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, give us a like, subscribe so you don't miss a thing here on the channel. This is also going to be in your podcast feed in like an hour, so you can take us on the go. If you're listening to us in the podcast feed, subscribe to Not a Cinephile so you can get all the stuff as it happens. You never know when you're going to get an emergency pod live stream on the channel, so you got to subscribe for it, and you can see our beautiful faces on the YouTubes. If you guys want to follow Nate, where can they find you, bro?
Find me across most social media platforms at Nate Knows Movies, or you can find me on Instagram at NateRichard98.
And of course, you can find me at Not a Cinephile. You can find the podcast at Insider Chatter, and we will be back talking Stranger Things. I think we said we wanted to do. We're probably going to do that for part 2. That's going to be after Christmas, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm sure I'll have another video here on the channel going up in the coming weeks. Until next time, though.
I was going to say, a frame-by-frame analysis from me, just in the black room, dissecting the trailer for Steven Spielberg's upcoming movie about UFOs.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do an episode when Avatar drops. Not even about Avatar itself, but we probably will review Avatar. But we gotta talk about the UFOs. We gotta talk about the Odyssey. We're probably getting the Supergirl trailer as well, all going in front of Avatar: Fire and Ash
tomorrow. Supergirl.
We'll be back soon. If you guys want to see us talk, like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. And remember, keep watching movies. Peace.